Hey there Wargamers, and welcome back to another Wargames Delivered video. In this video, we're going to be base coating Candy from the Neverborn faction. Let's get started. So continuing our Malifaux faction focus for this month and into March, we're going to go ahead and keep painting through the Pandora core box as well. So moving on to this model here, this is Candy from the Malifaux Neverborn Woe faction. And we are going to use a little bit of matte black and hydro turquoise and mix these together until we have a nice dark turquoise that sort of matches the box art on the box that she came in. So we'll go ahead and mix this together and add a thin layer of this to the bottom of the dress and certain areas on the model as well. So first of all, we will cover the bottom part of the dress here, and we'll work this all the way around, and then we'll move on to some of the smaller detail areas. This model is very tiny, so there's a lot of small detail. I did spray it white just to get it primed. I thought I was going to use some speed paint on it, but after looking at it and seeing how small it was and realizing it's kind of a enforcer, more of an important model, I wanted to take a little bit of extra time here and really work in those colors and details. So working around the dress here, we're going to hold the close-up until after we finish the black as well, because that will be the other primary color we'll be coloring in the dress and certain areas of the model with. And so we will be using just regular acrylics on this entire model rather than speed paints here. I figured I've been doing a lot of speed paint coverage on the channel, so this is a good opportunity to deconstruct a model a little bit more and kind of go in a little bit more depth on painting layers and stuff. So there is all of the base coat of our dark kind of turquoise color that we made here covered, and we'll go ahead and switch over to just regular matte black, and this is going to be sort of our accent color for the rest of the clothing. We'll cover her blouse in the middle there, some parts on the dress, and like her leggings as well. And while you're working on very small models like this, it's very important to not have a lot of excess paint on your brush. You'll want to wipe that away on your thumb or a paper towel. I obviously opt for the thumb just because it's right there, but this is the best way to have a lot of control on your brush. You can also kind of work a fine point onto your brush while you're wiping away the excess paint. That's kind of another added step as well. So this is going to be a really essential tool for covering really small models like this. And we will work the black up into her hair as well. And as you can see off camera, I also covered the little bracelets she has and the eyes of the eye sockets of the skeleton in her cute little basket there. So we'll move on to the flesh tone here, switching over to Corpse Pale for her flesh tone. And we're going to go ahead, and she doesn't really have too much skin poking out, just really the face and her arms are exposed, so we'll go ahead and cover those areas with 2 to 3 nice thin coats of the Corpse Pale. This paint has pretty decent coverage, but to get a nice opaque color you'll want 2 to 3 thin coats. And as always, when you're doing kind of finer details like this, you'll want to be very careful around the areas we've already base coated. Although it's a lot easier to clean up than speed paint, so really all you need to do is just go back to that dark kind of turquoise mixture that we made, or matte black, wherever you happen to have a mistake, and just go ahead and cover that up with that color. Now it's a little hard to tell the difference between the white and the skin tone right now, but once we get some wash on that later on in the next video, you'll kind of see that start to pop a little bit. So moving on here, we'll switch over to leather brown, and with this we're just going to paint the wicker part of the basket here. And of course here you'll want to be very careful around the side that's kind of facing her legs. That's also very close to areas we've already painted, so be aware of that while you're covering those areas, and take your time, like right here. There's also a cloth that's coming out at the top of the basket that we're going to cover with a kind of a gray, so just try not to get any on the white that we have already there, and so we'll switch over and cover that as well. This is going to be Stone Golem for the cloth coming out of the basket here. And for a lighter gray, this paint has really good coverage. Over a white surface, you'll probably only need 1 to 2 thin coats. This is one of my go-to kind of colors from the Army Painter line. It's a great kind of off-white to highlight and just do base coats with. And now for the skull, we will switch over to skeleton bone. We will do all these kind of steps in rapid succession here and give you a close-up shortly here after we get all of the items in the basket colored here. And next up, we're going to add a little bit of color. There's some kind of bows on the basket as well, so I think I skipped this step in filming, but we will add a little bit of a light purple to those as well. And as you can see, just to add a little bit of variety to our mini here, I added a little bit of oozing purple for those bows just to give it a little bit of color. So now we'll move on to our wash steps, and we will finish out this video very shortly. First up, we will switch over to our flesh wash and cover, of course, the face and the arms here. And you can be a little messy with this around the black, but just be very careful around the turquoise areas. It will change the tone of those, so it won't really have an effect on the black of the hair or the clothing. So be very careful of that. As you can see, with one layer of this, it adds a little bit more of a skin feel to the corpse pale. And we'll go ahead and give that a little bit of time to dry and switch over to our other wash here, which is going to be dark tone. And for this, we'll just cover the entirety of the mini in this color other than the flesh. So be very careful around the skin, but other than that, go ahead and add a nice, decent layer to every part of the mini here. And of course, try to avoid pooling on the raised areas. There are some areas where you definitely want to add some shadow, like the dips in the skirt there at the bottom. So keep that in mind while you're applying shadows, and try to keep the wash where you'd like it. You can always take a damp brush and move some wash away if you need to, or just take a dry brush and just move it to a different spot. These are some tools that I like to use when I'm working with my washes. We will continue this video series throughout the week. Thanks for sticking around for the first one, guys, and as always, be sure to check out the top link in the description to take part in the giveaway attached to this video. We will have giveaways attached to all of our videos this week, like we always do, and going forward, those giveaways will now end on Sunday, so you guys should have a lot of time throughout the week to go in and check out older videos and still take part in those giveaways. So as always, guys, happy wargaming.